Hello everybody and welcome to another Let's Play of Aurora 4X. I've continued for quite some time, over a year if I recall correctly, but nothing really important happened. As you can see here, I'm still watching at the stable wormhole in Hamburg, and no unfriendly invaders came to visit Seoul till now. I actually salvaged the invader scout which rammed our civilian freighter earlier, but got nothing from it, which is quite a shame. And after we managed to resolve the wealth crisis with the help of the civilian shipping line, we started to find some very nice chunks of money on Berlin B4 and on Munich. Overall over 30k of credits. And in the end we exploited the ruins on Berlin without finding anything really remarkable. We started research on Munich, which has a 90% defensive research bonus, which is nice. And actually I started it because we found a research lab on Munich and later on a second one. The only problem here is we have no defensive specialists, so at the moment I'm using a sensor specialist which has at least a decent bonus here. What else did happen? Oh yeah, I talked about getting tons of Munich sub-colonies, and one guy on the forum said, yeah, it might be due to me having not set up the colony before sending the first colony ship there. This might be the case, I'm not exactly sure, but I think I did establish the colony first. But anyway, I removed the orders from the colony ship and gave new orders to move colonists, the neutral colonists, to Munich. And at least I'm no longer getting 0.2 colonies from my ships, but the civilian shipping lines are still generating sub-colonies, so I'm still using SM to take out those colonists and put them to the main colony. In addition, what I've seen while still exploring the ruins of Munich, now they are exploited, is that the items, the installations you find often, actually every time when there was a subcolony, it ended up on the subcolony. So if you have to deal with the same problem, try to remember to take a good look at the subcolony if there's anything important there, and if there is, SM it to the main colony as well before abandoning the subcolony. Another nice find on Munich, we found a terraformer, two actually in the end, and moved it to Mars, since Munich is a perfectly habitable planet anyway. And in addition we found some terraforming tech, the lowest tech level actually, but it's still a 20% boost. The standard terraforming value here is 0.01, and now we got 0.012 tech. This is nice. We completed some research, mainly into beam fire controls. We got new fire control speed and range, and have built new fire controls for our Sturmvogel fast attack craft and the Blüchers for the Gauss turrets. In addition, we got 20 centimeter lasers. The main problem about the lasers is I'm using I'm already using a spinal laser which has a size of 19, and since the ship is already pretty much built up, the Sturmvogel, and there's no real room, or there are no components to remove in order to put a larger laser in there. We are essentially stuck with our current laser because I can show it to you here. The 20 centimeter laser needs more power. Lasers, there it is. It needs the same, or it has the same power requirement as it deals damage, and our spinal laser deals 9 damage, so we need 9 power, which we can do with a 0.4 reactor. But in order to reach 10 power, at least in a acceptable time, we would need 0.5 power or even more, and essentially we can't fit those reactors into the FAC at the moment unless going completely unarmored, and I don't like to do this on an FAC. Due to this, we are currently researching reduced laser size, which will mean slower reload times due to the slower firing times, but the laser will be 25% smaller, so this should free up some room. What else did I do? Yeah. I was guessing about the cutoff point when a planet will get the full range of production, or the full range of products actually, and it happens at 20 million. So that's good to keep in mind. At 20 million you might want to set your colony to stable. I actually wrong one. I set Luna to stable at 25 here in the end, because I want the new colonists to move to Mars. And finally, our civilians build a luxury liner, which is fairly nice, at least if it sticks to the short routes here, because you're making a quite nice sum of money from taxing those luxury cruises. Sadly, the Lux liner decides, and it often decides this way, to move to far-off systems, which is lowering the profit we make here. Okay, and as you can see, the plan to build up Mars now, after we build up Luna, is working. Now a lot of infrastructure and colonists are being moved to Mars, and I hope to hit the 20+ million population mark on Mars fairly soon as well, in order to further stimulate trade inside the Sol system, which yields the best profits. Anything else? No. Okay, why did I actually get back into the game or back to recording at this point? Because we have built our TAC. In the meantime, we have in addition built, I think 6, let's take a look here. Yeah, 6 thorium harvesters, which have no engines. Due to this, they have a movement speed of 1, so we need a TAC to get them in place. Our orbital habitat is still under construction, but we have allocated quite a number of our industrial capacity to build it now, so it should be completed soon as well. We were busy building ships here, since I'm still afraid that at some point in time the invaders simply have to come out of their hiding hole. So we are up to 7 carriers now, and 14 destroyers. So even though their tracking speed is still pretty bad against any decent invader ship, we are slowly starting to get there. I'm waiting to get better turret tracking speed before upgrading the Gauss turrets to 16 tracking speed as well, which should give us at least a slight chance to intercept missiles. And with, what is the number? 16? I forgot it again. But anyway, with a decent number of destroyers, escort destroyers, and each of them carrying 2 quad Gauss turrets with 3 shots for each cannon, we should put quite a decent number of lead in the air, which might allow us to kill most of the missiles, even if our jump gate guarding group, no, not this one, should be unable to destroy the invaders when they get through. So I'm a tad optimistic here. In addition, since I see the old designation here, I want to show you another thing. You can, first of all, let's obsolete this old class. When you take a look at the numbers at the ships in class, you see the different designations which might bother you. It sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't, but you can simply renumber the ships of the class. So there's no mixing up between old and new classes, which is nice sometimes. I'll do the same with the Sturmvogels actually. Are we building those yet? Yeah, they have the new fire control, so I've upgraded to them, but I think I'm starting to upgrade to them. But most should still be in the old class. Due to this, I will not renumber them. Another thing I want to show you, view technology. By now we have a fair number of old components which are cluttering up the build menu. Should be still unbuilt, exactly. The list will only get longer and longer, and due to it you can not only obsolete ships, but you can obsolete tech components as well, which is done. Maybe there are different ways, but at least you can do it from here, from the tech report. What's its name? View technology button. And fairly easily we can see the same size, better maximum range, so this is an old component, let's obsolete it. It's the same with the search sensor, the small one, and we should have an old, exactly this one, higher tonnage sensor as well. The fire controls for the missiles, yeah, that's an old one. And another old fire control. I will not go through the whole list, I'll do it in between episodes, but I just wanted to show it to you. Now we've got our TAC. Let's use our TAC. So, in addition, we found another planet here, or system here, but so far we found no other really interesting planets except in the Munich system. Everything here has been explored by now. 100% means the geo survey in the system has been completed. Berlin has only not been completed due to the special characteristics of Berlin, which is the missing planets are out there, and the distance from the center of the system is 30 billion kilometers, and I don't really can be bothered at the moment to take a look there. Okay, but we wanted to take a look at Berlin. Take a look where the civilian fuel harvesters are situated, and it looks like Jupiter. And I think Jupiter was the only planet which has some decent thorium resources. At least the only gas planet where we can use fuel harvesters, and that's right. All the others here are low and or actual planets, rock planets, and not gas giants. So we'll want to move our harvesters to Jupiter as well, and then I'll show you a nasty trick how to get rid of those annoying civilian harvesters who are slowing down the game and stealing our thorium. So let's put the tag to some use. Group orders. In order to tag another ship, you have to have your tag selected. Then go to task groups. I know the harvesters are still in the shipyard task group. Tractor specified ship. I want the tractor thorium harvester 1. Add move. Then you tell it where you want to move. Excuse me. The harvester, in this case Jupiter. Release tractor chip, and we'll get back to this one once we have reached Jupiter. Anything else here? No. Let's take a look if we want to build some other ships. We don't need another tug. We don't need another geo survey ship at the moment. I don't think that we really need. Oh, this one's blocked. We might use another graph survey ship, but for this we need a military yard, which we don't really have. I'm starting to set up a second small military yard here for the Eagles, and I'm waiting for the new turret tech in order to refit the Blüchers. I might build another carrier. Yeah, can't hurt. We can refit it later on anyway. So let's get started on this. And back to the game. Let's tractor our harvester to Jupiter. Joined. No. And this is again the problem with having a fairly large bunch of other nations on Earth, in addition to all the civilian shipping lines, ours and theirs, which makes turns very slow even now, just 10 years into the game. Yeah, I think I'll pause till the tug has arrived. Okay, our tug should arrive soon. As you can see, it has fairly decent speed, despite hauling quite a substantial mass behind it, 80 kilotons on those harvesters. And it will get worse once we try to tuck our orbital habitat into place. Okay, and we arrived. It detached the tractor chips. Here's our soil harvester. Let's give it a new name. FH, yeah, there it is. Rename harvester soul. Okay. One important thing about fuel harvesters is usually it's not enough to just put them into orbit of a planet. Or usually it is enough, but actually in-game you have to give them an additional order to move to the planet you want to harvest from itself. It will complain about just one maximum speed of just one, but that's no problem. It will settle onto the planet anyway. As you can see up here, since we've designated it as a tanker, it starts with just 10% fuel. So it's ready to start working, and it will produce about 1.7 million liters per annum, which is decent, especially since we have even no fuel. I just wanted to say, since we are starting to get very low on fuel here, but I think the two ships which just returned from their training exercises have finally drained the fuel from Earth. But our friendly civilian ships will help with this. I'm actually not sure if it's a bug, but I like removing those civilian ships, and here our tug will come in handy. Where are those contacts or task groups? I'm not sure at the moment. I think task groups. Yeah, here it is. Actually, the civilian fuel harvesters, for some reason, show up as task groups, and we can tractor those task groups, which is what I will be doing. So tractor this one, bring it back to Earth, and once we attach our tractor to it, move is the wrong one, release tractor chips, add move, add in destination, yeah. Might take a bit again. The tractor chip is ours. There are just two civilian fuel harvesters left now, which is nice. Solar has completed its orders, so it's starting to produce fuel. And we have just stolen a civilian harvester, moving it back to Earth. We'll unload it there and then scrap it, so that it no longer slows down the game even more. And I think I'll pause again. Yep. Okay, our tug arrived on Earth. Actually, before scrapping this ship, let's take a closer look at it. I think I've never bothered before to really look at it. Okay, interesting. Obviously, this fuel harvester... it's our tug. Very smart move. There it is. 24 modules, producing very slow speed. Okay. It's filled up now. Actually, since we need the fuel, I just reuse those. Yeah, I keep using those ships. So I'll just order it. Let's split off first. No, it should be split off already. Yeah, there it is. Earth, unload 90% of the fuel. I've never actually used this load unload fuel to set level. Well, let's try. If it works like normal mineral orders, it should be... Can I put in 0 here? Oh, we'll see. Let's take a little experiment here. Or let's do a little experiment. Has completed orders. That's nice, but did it do what we wanted it to do? No, not really. Okay, so we'll stick with the old one. I'm not inclined to fiddle around with finding the correct orders here. And in the meantime, I'll move another tug back to the system and use the engines on the vice in order to get it back to Jupiter. So we want our tug, and I think I'll actually be using the drives on the other civilian fuel harvesters I intend to hijack to bring them back to Earth by themselves as well. So tug, task groups, shipyard, tractor, and the next one. Jupiter, and release. And I'll pause again till we are there. Okay, and our tug has arrived. So let's integrate the second harvester into our harvesting task group. Again, it's important to send it to the planet first, and only after you moved it to the planet you want to harvest, have it join the task group. So let's see if we can be a tad quicker with stealing the civilian ships. And as you can see here, only the fuel harvesters are shown, so no, as far as I know, you cannot steal any other civilian ships and get rid of them this way. This would be nice, especially later in the game when you don't really need this many civilians, though I personally tend to use the civilians for most of my shipping even later in the game, but it will slow down the game a lot more than it's already slowed down now. So let's just tractor this one and try to release it immediately. Should be Jupiter, release tractored ships, add move. Let's see if it works, but I assume it should work. Should even be fairly fast or fairly quickly done. Yeah, it works. Nice. Let's take a look at the cargo holds of our newest addition to our harvesting fleet. Yeah, great. Unload fuel at Earth. Move to Jupiter and join the harvesters. And another quick hijacking. If I recall correctly, this fuel harvester just arrived at Jupiter shortly ago, so it should be still fairly empty. And our tug will move back to Earth. No, I can directly choose the shipyard and grab another harvester from there and move it to Jupiter as well. So let's take another quick look at our newest edition. This should be the Vice 19. There it is. Filled up completely as well. Okay, nice. Unload. Move to Jupiter. Join. Harvest a soul. Okay, and while they are busily working, and I'll keep transporting the additional few harvesters towards Jupiter as well, I'll take another break till something interesting happens. Okay, our first for Sturmvogel fast attack craft has been refitted, and since our fleet guarding the jump point should have been on station for quite some time, at least a part of it, yep, it's time to change those for fresh troops. I should get new fighters, and most importantly a censorship up to carrier task force 1. Yeah, this looks good. Let's see if it's filled up properly. What have we got? The new Sturmvogel class, the Eagles, and most importantly the scanning ship. All active sensors are activated, so let's take a look at the jump. These wormhole still at Hamburg. Yes, it is. So let's move Carrier Task Force 1 to Hamburg. And in the meantime, while this goes, the fleet slowly, due to the game moving slowly, moves up to the jump point. This one completed already, yeah. Let's talk about terraforming a little bit. I'm not sure if I've covered this before, but I don't think I did. Terraforming can be done in two ways. Nice. Let's deal with this one first and send our jump ship through the gate here. Terraforming can be done in two ways. First off, by installations on the planet, which are built with normal industrial capacity, or by construction battalions. And the second option is using ships with terraforming modules. Essentially, the terraforming modules work like the thorium harvesting modules. And if I build a ship like this, I will most likely build those without engines as well and tow them to the planets where I want to use them. Let's just move our third carrier task force back to Earth. Refuel, resupply, begin overhaul. Actually, no, don't begin overhaul just yet, since I want to start refitting those for Sturmvogel here. So just move for now. Where did I stop? Terraforming modules. Yeah, they work essentially the same way as the harvesters, and I will pull them or tow them into their orbits as well. And as with the fuel harvesters, you have to tell them to move to the planet and only then join a potential terraforming task force. Otherwise they are sitting in orbit doing nothing, as far as I know. So always use move to planet for anything or any ships you want to do anything with a planet, like terraforming or fuel harvesting. I wanted to use the tug here to move another one of our ships to Jupiter. Shipyard tractor, add move Jupiter, release, and our new thorium harvester want or should move to Jupiter, yeah, we know, and join the harvesters. Let's take a quick look at the harvesters. Harvester soul, yeah, they are working, very nice. And again, back to terraforming. Terraforming modules have one advantage over the planet-based terraformers, in that ships get another bonus for terraforming from the captain of the ship. In contrast, the land-based terraformers will only receive the bonus of the sector governor and the planetary governor, which is nice as well. But I think the ship commander bonus stacks with the sector and the planetary governor as well. So essentially the terraforming ships get a third bonus, which is very nice. When you start terraforming, personally, I tend to remove any poisonous gases at first, since it's usually fairly quick to do. I can't really recall the moment ever having seen huge quantities of poisonous gases here. Let me deal with this fleet quickly again. We wanted to refit our Sturmvogel. Yeah, 4 slots free. Refit 2 Sturmvogel 1-1 exactly, or Mark 1-1 from the old Mark 1. At task, yeah, 62%, that's nice. I would even refit them if the costs were above 100%, since we are talking about ships with 100% fleet training here, and in my opinion it's well worth the mineral costs and the monetary costs in order to prevent me having to use them in fleet exercises for another 1.5 years. So terraforming, I tend to start with removing poisonous gases or dangerous gases, and then I usually add oxygen, because our race has an ideal oxygen content or number of atmospheres for oxygen of 0.2, and we have a maximum deviation from this of 0.1. I pretty much always start with the terraforming with adding oxygen up to 0.1 atmospheres. Then I'll take a look at the actual number of gases, what I have to do next. Here on Mars we will need some safe greenhouse gases next in order to get up the temperature. You can use other gases as well, which are serving as greenhouse gases, but I think they are not more efficient. It would just be more realistic to use other gases. I tend to stick to the simple way and use greenhouse gas here. A second thing which is important about terraforming, let's take Earth here as an example, is the percentage of oxygen in the atmosphere. Since the percentage is based on Earth, we will need at least 10% oxygen of the whole atmosphere of a new planet, and at most 30%. So if you're below 10%, after adding the 1.8, you will have to add enough oxygen that you get back to 10% plus. And if you are above 30%, you have either to lower oxygen, if possible. You shouldn't fall below the needed 0.1 here of oxygen. The other option would be simply adding additional gases till the oxygen content gets lowered to 30% or less. And that's pretty much. Let's talk about albedo at the moment a little bit here. Do we have? No. Okay. Essentially, albedo means how much sunlight is reflected back into space from the planet. I think Steve has it actually got the other way around, but it's not important if it's high or low albedo. What is important, when there are ice caps, they are reflecting a pretty decent percentage of the sunlight and the warmth back into space, so it will be harder for the planet to heat up. But once you reach a certain temperature threshold, the ice caps are starting to melt. I've never really taken a look at where this threshold is, but once the ice caps start to melt, a lot less sunlight and warmth will be reflected back into space, and the planet will begin to start heating up faster than before. So try to keep an eye out for a message that the ice caps have melted and the albedo has, I think, risen. In case of Aurora, in reality it would have most likely gone down, but again, not important. What I've forgotten here is that I wanted to put the rest of the fleet into overhaul. I'm not certain if this will cause any problems with the Sturmvogel, which I've set to refit. No, shouldn't, because they have no maintenance clocks, so this should be fine. Earth. It causes a problem because they're already overhauling. I'm unable to overhaul the rest of the fleet, so let's split them off. I'm not sure if it works. Often with overhaul orders, just splitting off the offending part doesn't help. You usually have to split off the non-offending part, so the ships you actually want to overhaul, but we'll see. No, that's the wrong one. Earth, begin overhaul. Let's see if it works. And one of the nice things about terraforming is that you'll see gradual improvements in the planetary conditions, meaning a planet which might have started with a colony cost of 4 goes down to 3.99, 3.98, and so on and so on. So essentially, that's what I've been afraid of. We'll have to redo this order, but let's finish the thought. You'll need less and less infrastructure to house 1 million colonists, for example. So if you've already established a certain number of infrastructure on the planet, and you're getting lower colony costs, essentially you will get more space for new colonists without having to ship in new infrastructure, which is nice, and which is another one of the reasons why usually after you get your civilian economy up and running, you will not need to build any additional infrastructure, since with a mix of how to say it, with a mix of getting free infrastructure and being able to get better use out of your current infrastructure due to terraforming planets and lowering the colony costs, you will usually have more than enough infrastructure in your system without building any new ones. So let's try again, and I think this should work. But as we have seen, like I said before, removing the offending ships, in this case the Sturmvogel, did not work. It caused an error, since the game remembered there's a overhaul order or a refit order involved with this fleet, so no other order can be given. So I had to move all of the ships out of Carrier Task Force 3, which has this overhaul flag, and now it should work. And since we are getting no error here, it did work. Okay, and with this, I'll pause again. The joys of getting higher population. Unrest is rising on Hanover A2 because the population believes that the central government is not providing sufficient military protection. This means we have 3 possibilities to deal with it. The threshold for wanting protection levels is 10 million. We can either provide actual protection levels, for example, by moving a ship here. Let's take a look at one of our Blüchers. A Blücher would provide planetary protection value of 73, so it should be enough for quite some time. Another option would be to prefabricate a PDC and send it to Hanover, because Hanover has hardly any construction capability of its by itself, and I think it lacks the minerals to even build a PDC, but it would take too long anyway, so that's no real option. And the third option would be to simply send in a military unit like a garrison or a mobile infantry, which suppresses the civilians, and as far as I know, nothing really bad will happening by this suppression. The political stability modifier will go down a bit and revert back to 100% due to the presence of the troops. But for now, I build a small PDC. Later on, it will take some time to get built, so let's move an Blücher to there to give them some kind of protection. Any Blücher I prefer. Yeah, the lowest level one, since the great bonus will provide additional chances or additional to hit chance versus enemy missiles, for example. So I want the best crews to stay in system in case the invaders do attack. So it will be the Blücher 2, which moves to Hanover. Just to be sure, let's take a quick look how long the distances involved are. It would not be very helpful if the Blücher would be unable to make the journey. So that's 3 billion here. And in Seoul, Hanover, okay, should be short enough. Yeah, not even 500 million, so 7 billion for the round trip. This should not be a problem. Die Blücher, Hanover, standard transit, and move to. This should be enough for now. Let's take a look at our industry when we will get some free industrial capacity in end of January. Yeah, that's fine. Then we'll start to build a new PDC, and I will not be using the large PDC we have established here on Earth, because this would take quite a lot of time and would be overkill in my opinion for a system like Hanover at the moment, but I'll construct a smaller one. Let's take a quick look at the big one. Yeah, 50,000 tons. No way I would do this. We would need 21 sections, which would be fabricated. I think I'll most likely use, let's copy this one, Festung, copy design. I'll tinker a bit with the actual PDC here, but I'm thinking about something more like, yeah, 100, this looks okay. 2 file controls, yeah, 100 is even too much. Yeah, 1 file control for 20 and 1 file control for 40 size 1 missiles and 1 file control for the 20 size 6s. The armor looks okay. 10 hangar decks. No, I don't think I want to put this many fighters there. The nice thing about fighters is that they provide their own planetary protection value. So with you having hangars for 5,000 tons of fighters, we should get a decent additional number of planetary protection, and the hangar allows us to build this PDC without any active sensors, since I will send our old sensor ships to those colonies. So let's remove, yeah, five hangars should be enough, and the rest looks fine. We're down to 11 sections. I'm not sure how close to 10. Yeah, close enough to 10, so I've lowered the armor a little bit. This will be our new smaller PDC, the Fort. Close. Okay, and back to pause. And with the Blücher having arrived at Hanover, the unrest is starting to decrease. It should be back to no unrest on the 5-day tick after this one, I think. In addition, our geo team has found some duranium, or additional uranium deposits on Mars, and not Mars, Mercury, essentially more than doubling the available deposits, and more importantly, in my opinion, increasing the accessibility from 50% to 80%. That's nice, but most likely, let's take a quick look at the uranium deposits here in Seoul. No, with 5.7 million at 90% accessibility, I don't think that we'll be exploiting Mercury, but it's a nice deposit, nevertheless. What else does Mercury have? No, not enough to consider building up a colony there. It would be fairly hard, which can be seen by the colony costs. It can be colonized, but it's far from easy. Mars is at 2, so Mercury is essentially 8 times as hard to colonize than Mars. And one thing which I haven't done, I think, is taking a look if our fuel harvesters are having suitable offices. Fuel harvesting skill is mining here. So let's take a look where our miners are located. On the Eagle, which does not make a lot of sense. No real other use for this commander, so let's stick him into a fuel harvester. Mining 20%, that's okay. Mining 15, yeah, that's okay as well. We don't have that many highly skilled. 10 might be better already. Let's take another look if there's some other important skill on those commanders. No, there isn't, so this is fine. You get assigned to this ship. Konteradmiral, no way, she will work a harvester. Already on a harvester. Fleet operations. Transport. Any important skill there? No, not really. So you'll get a fuel harvester as well. Mining 10%. Now we have 15. Geo team, we'll need that one. Already on a fuel harvester. Yeah, looks like another fuel harvester candidate here. Oh, it's already at 15. So let's take a look here. Mining 10 at our stone harvesters. No skill at all. Okay, you'll get a new captain. Eagle, the movement rating ain't bad, but just Korvettenkapitän rank is a bit low. Yeah, you get another fuel harvester. Yeah. Geoteam, harvester. The rest is 10%. So we've essentially assigned the most useful captains to those harvesters. So we've finished the survey of Mercury. I think we only have the other planets left. So Venus, exactly. Completed. Mars, Luna, or Earth is naturally completed. So Luna should most likely be the quickest one of those. So let's remove the team from Mercury. Disband. And restart it on Luna. Scientist, energy weapons 10%. No, we have better scientists for this. Maybe we'll keep the Fregattenkapitän in order to command one of our destroyer escorts, since we are still lacking commanders for them, if I recall correctly. But I'll take a quick look there as well. Anybody, I don't care who I pick here. Yeah. At least 2 of our destroyers are still lacking a captain, and many of the smaller ships as well, so I'll not waste a Fregattenkapitän on this geo team. Okay, and back to pausing. And our Bifrost finished its travel to the new jump point, or to the new system we've seen from Stuttgart. And actually it looks like there's a gate builder sitting at the Stuttgart jump point, and there's a gate here in Dresden leading to Stuttgart, so this looks fairly empty. Let's take a look if we are only... Yeah, we only have a sun here and nothing else. This is a little bit disappointing, but shows that we need an additional graph survey craft as soon as possible, since we have done all possible geo researches except in Mannheim. So let's take a look. Where is our geo-survey ship at the moment? I want to move it to Mannheim actually. Geo-survey is sitting at Seoul. Yeah. Time to wake up. Should have saved this one. Let's do it this way. Safe position. Mannheim is a Bonn, Stuttgart, Mannheim jump. So let's move the Bifrost to the Stuttgart Mannheim jump point. Bifrost, Stuttgart, Mannheim. I'll just move 2 of them for the moment. And let's move the Dinosaur to Bonn, Stuttgart and Mannheim. It's completely refueled, and we wanted to use GeoSurvey. Okay, and pausing again. And with the Blücher having arrived at Hanover, we finally get a close and fairly good look at the civilian, or at the Chinese colony there. Thermal of 1000 and we EM of 1500. How much do we actually have there? It's not shown here. Yeah, smart move. And they have another small colony on the moon. Yeah, there it is. Tad hard to see due to all the system clutter here, but there it is. So, what does it say? 1K and 1.5K. And our colony has 1.4 and 3.4. So this means we should have more people and we should have more industry than the Chinese are having there. But that's nice to know. In addition, they have some troops. C-30, most likely 3 garrisons, and 1 of them here. But as I mentioned, I don't want to fight the other nations on Earth, so this will not matter. Another thing I did between or during the pause was constructing a tanker, since I'll have to get a vessel which is able to move up to the harvesters and get their fuel, since moving them via tug all the time is tedious, and as I mentioned a couple of times before, I hate micromanagement. Why is there an career berth up there? That's yeah, it might be useful. I try to build the tanker with the same speed as the rest of the fleet, so it's able to follow the speed and fill them up. I think I mentioned this the last time, that the short range of the Blücher has me bothered a little bit here, but with 6 million liter capacity on those tankers, filling up the Blüchers 1 to 2 times shouldn't be that much of a problem, and they're traveling at the same speed. So rather than wasting weight and space on combat ships, I prefer to send tankers with my fleet and leave them in a safe system just at the jump gate where the battle will most likely be fought. Because in my opinion it's better to use combat ships for military equipment than putting tons of fuel tanks on them. The only possible exception here is a carrier, since the carrier has to refuel its own ships or its fighters and fast attack crafts, but under normal conditions a range of 24 billion is not enough, so they will have to use the tanker as well. And due to this, it can't hurt if the tanker has an actual cryo berth, which means once the battle is hopefully won, they can move in and scoop up alien life pods for interrogation. Okay, and back to pause. And we finished another year without being wiped out by our invader friends. And with the final screen here, I want to show another thing which is kind of annoying. As you can see here, our graph survey vessel has orders to refuel from the Bifrost, and the Bifrost has orders to move to the Mannheim jump point. But if you take a look at where the Copernicus is traveling, it will end up roughly here. So this means if you order a ship to move to another ship and this ship is moving, it will calculate an intercept course, but since it seems to be uninformed where the other ship is actually heading, it just extrapolates its current movement and tries to calculate where the two ships should meet regarding their or including their current speeds into the calculation. In this case, the Copernicus tries to meet the Bifrost down here, despite the Bifrost stopping at the Mannheim jump point. Due to this, a direct refuel order was actually a bad idea on my part. So remove this order. Instead, we tell it to move to the Mannheim jump point, since I know that the Bifrost will end up there, and then refuel from the Bifrost at the jump point itself, and then it will move on to the Mannheim system, since Stuttgart has been served, or the survey in Stuttgart has been completed. And with this, thank you all for watching. Bye bye.